Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And a lot like the weekend, today a gorgeous day around north central Washington. This beautiful shot is at the cross camera at Wenatchee Heights, provided by Sky-Fi, and a great shot of both East Wenatchee and Wenatchee. The Columbia River just like glass out there today, and a few of those high clouds. I like to call them fair weather clouds because it was a beautiful day with temperatures in the low to mid 60s. But enjoy today and tomorrow, because by midweek we do have some changes coming our way. Not so much tomorrow. It may get a little bit breezy for us tomorrow night. Most of the wind will be in the Columbia Basin and up around the Okanagan Valley. We could see winds here between 10 and 20 miles an hour Tuesday night. Wednesday won't be too bad. Winds will let up at least here on Wednesday, and then things get wet Wednesday night into Thursday, and especially by the time we get into our next upcoming weekend. And we'll talk much more about that wet forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Douglas County official says funding for the Wenatchee Landing Sewer Extension project has been included in the proposed state capital budget. And there's a new candidate for Wenatchee School Board and an incumbent seeking re-election in the Eastmont School District. But first, we begin tonight. A motorcycle accident Friday afternoon left a Wenatchee man with a dislocated arm, brain swelling, and 6 broken ribs. The accident happened around 3:20 p.m. when 55-year-old Scott McClellan was hit by a car at the corner of Chelan and Orondo Avenues in Wenatchee. The driver of the car fled the scene and was later stopped and questioned about the accident. An investigation surrounding the suspect vehicle shows police don't have enough evidence to charge the 22-year-old driver, who witnesses say was racing another vehicle at the time of the accident. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department says the driver of the car won't be named unless charges are filed, but added that charges or citations are possible in the future if additional evidence is discovered. Well, for years, it's been the lack of sewer services that has stymied any plans for economic development north of East Wenatchee near the Otobashan Bridge. But a Douglas County official says funding for the Wenatchee Landing Sewer Extension project has been included in the proposed state capital budget. Commissioner Dan Sutton says the $1 million allotted for the project will be well used.
The importance of that area to Douglas County as a whole is getting the right infrastructure out there to encourage good development. You know, we're going to grow. This area is going to grow. It really doesn't matter if we're pro-growth or not pro-growth. It's going to happen. And my stance has always been to get out in front of it and manage it well. And this can be an opportunity to backfill some of that sparsely filled area with housing, which, of course, everybody knows we desperately need in the county. And then also open it up to some commercial/retail/other yet unimagined opportunities out there.
The Wenatchee Landing, that's Wenatchee with an I, is the name attached to a large area of land previously referred to as the North End Study Plan. The plan is a blueprint to create regional job center and a tourist recreation destination at the north end of the East Wenatchee urban growth area.
You know, somebody who wants to move a business or a company or some sort of process like that over here really wants to see that the Douglas County area is committed as well and helping get some infrastructure out there. Basically, it gives Douglas County some financial stability long term, because as different parts of the area become city instead of county, then your revenues change. And as a commissioner, I think it's incumbent upon me to make sure that we're staying sound financially and business sound and whole in Douglas County.
Sutton says the area's future development will benefit both sides of the river in terms of additional housing and jobs. Martin Barron, longtime resident and community volunteer of Wenatchee, announced his decision to run for a position on the Wenatchee School District Board of Directors coming up in the November 2019 election. He said in a Saturday news release that he will not be opposing Laura Jakes. who announced his candidacy. Barron states, quote, "There is no economic and social endeavor that is more important for the future welfare of our community than the invested effort and resources in K through 12 education. Our Wenatchee community is diverse," he says, "in many ways, and all our students deserve to be treated with equal value," unquote. He was employed at Pipkin Construction as Chief Financial Officer for 19 years. Prior to that, he served as Vice President of Dole Fresh Fruit Company Northwest. Meanwhile, three-term Eastmont School Board member Michelle Wright announced she will run for a fourth term on the board. Wright was appointed to the school board in early 2007 to complete an unexpired term and then ran unopposed that fall, a trend that continued once again in 2011. In 2015, she was challenged by attorney John Brangwyn, but won with 64.7% of the vote. Of the three board member positions up in Eastmont for election this year, she is the only incumbent planning to run. The official filing period is May 13th through the 17th. The general election is on November 5th. Coming up next, the irrigation season kicked off today in Douglas County as the network of ditches were filled, and a rail line that was closed in Adams County following a freight train derailment 2 weeks ago has now reopened. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Welcome back. In another news, the irrigation season kicked off today in Douglas County. The Greater Wenatchee Irrigation District filled their network of ditches Monday morning. The district serves over 93,000 acres of land extending from the upper bench of East Wenatchee, Brays Landing, and Howard Flats areas. Officials noted on the district's website that due to weather conditions, they are 2 weeks behind normal schedule. They say they hope to have everyone online by April 30th. Meanwhile, the Wenatchee Reclamation District has set April 22nd as the date for filling its 34-mile-long open canal with water. Crews have been out cleaning winter debris from the district's system. The Wenatchee Reclamation District maintains over 37 miles of canals extending from Dryden east to the Rock Island area. Over 5,000 customers are served. The Highline Canal has been supplying water to area orchardists for over a century. In the Upper Wenatchee Valley, the Icicle-Peshastin Irrigation District has targeted April 27th as the season startup date. Manager Tony Yonser says the late start date will enable the district to replace hundreds of feet of old pipeline. A rail line that was closed in Adams County following a freight train derailment 2 weeks ago has now reopened. But questions remain about the accident and how it was handled by Union Pacific. A March 14th rock slide caused the 23-car derailment near the town of Hooper. The crash resulted in a fire and chemical spill that shut down the rail line until March 21st. It's reported in the Seattle Times that State Department of Ecology and Adams County emergency management officials were not informed by Union Pacific of the sodium chlorate spill until March 16th, 2 full days after the derailment. Union Pacific has come under criticism from the union representative representing locomotive engineers and trainmen whose members feared the potential for a bigger disaster. They blamed the railroad company for not reopening the spill sooner and failing to inform the locomotive crew about the decision to conduct a controlled burn. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and the floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Moving doesn't have to be back-breaking, stressful work. And I don't want you to make a move that way ever again.
Traditionally, you would rent a truck. You would load up your stuff. You would rent a storage unit. You would transport it. And finally, you would unload your stuff yourself. You don't have to lift a finger. We bring the mobile storage unit to you, we drop it off, then one of our trusted packers can load it for you. We come pick it up and store it securely for you. We bring it back to you. No hassle, no stress.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, we're taking a look at this week's NCWLIFE magazine with producer Caitlin Hedersheet as she profiles 3 local artists. We start first with woodworker Brogan Kelly of Lake Chelan.
I'm Brogan Kelly. I've lived in Chelan for 26 years, and we are currently standing in my wood shop here out by Chelan Fruit. And October 17th, we were woken up at about 2 o'clock in the morning by the fire department. And they were like, hey, you got to get out of your house. And I was like, why? And as soon as I came out of the bedroom, I looked through the living room window, and this place was it was heating up the valley. It was on fire. It burned that night. They got it put out by about 4 o'clock in the morning, and my chickens were at fault for that. They decided to, use the heat lamp in other ways than what it should have been used, but that's okay. The only thing left of that building is the floor in here. And so we ended up getting this building finished probably about a month and a half ago. And we weren't really sure what we were going to do with it. It was either going to be a music studio or a photography studio, but all in all, it ended up becoming a wood shop. A lot of my background in hands-on woodworking or construction come from both my mom and my dad's side of the family. My mom's dad, he was brought up here from Nevada to build Wapato Point. And that was always part of my childhood growing up. I was out in the garage with Papa, as we called him. It just kind of started with building a small thing and cutting one thing, putting a nail in another, and that's kind of where it all began, because I wish they were here to work with me, because it'd be such an honor to work with them. Little Valley Home Services is more of a kind of a maintenance business, you know, light finish construction, a little bit of contracting, you know. But this hand-built cutting board, you know, vintage antique furniture refinishing is really kind of all on its own. It's something that Little Valley Home Services kind of took on. It's not really what I was expecting the business to be, but after it got started, it's kind of what it morphed itself into. And I really enjoy it. I'm totally fine with the road that this business decided to take itself on. I kind of started out making a ton of different things, and the cutting boards were, I guess, something that just caught on. You know, I had a lot of comments on Facebook and Instagram on them, and so then I kind of took off with it. I was like, wait a minute, let's get some nicer wood, let's get some nicer tools, and try and make these something that people would really enjoy having in their homes. There's a business downtown on the corner called Lush, and she's going to be carrying all of my finished products, and you can also place a custom order with her. And you know, if you're wanting to just kind of see how they're used, you know, I talked to a lot of people and they say, well, what's a charcuterie board? And you know, to be honest, when I started, I didn't know. But Local Myth is also having a bunch of them made because they're going to start serving some different charcuterie dishes this summer. So you can go into Local Myth and check them out. They're going to have some really neat ones done here soon. I'm actually going to get started on those next week. But if you're looking to purchase one, you can get a hold of Jody down at Lush, and she can take custom orders, or you know, you can check out her store and kind of see what she's got in stock. It's an honor to have someone come to me and ask me to build them something that, you know, I know is going to be in their kitchen and in their home for years. And I just hope that, you know, when people come to me and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, this is the kind of wood that I want, this is a shape that I wanted, or the thickness or whatever, you know, I hope it's something that stays in their family for years, and not because I made it, but because it was handmade, you know.
Great job by Caitlin there. And Brogan Kelly, I want that hat. Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to those details, let's take a look outside our weather window from Wenatchee Heights at the cross camera, thanks to Sky5 providing this just gorgeous shot of Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Beautiful blue sky, as I mentioned earlier. I like to call those fair weather clouds because no rainfall from those, just a few clouds ahead of a system that will be affecting our weather. But all in all, a beautiful day today. Very warm out once again too. 64 unofficially our high temperature this afternoon. That's above 59 where we should be for this time of year. Started off nice today too at 43 degrees, a few degrees warmer than where we should be. 1992, a record high year, and that was 80 degrees. Record low in 2008 at 26 degrees. 6:40 our sunrise this morning. Sun will set tonight at 7:30. Let's take a look now at what we can expect, and we have a wet forecast to talk about. Not so much tonight or even into Tuesday. We will see mostly cloudy skies tonight with a slight northwest breeze. Here's our weather maker as we make our way into Tuesday late and then into Wednesday especially. So mostly cloudy tomorrow, mild. Some of these showers may come as far north as the Yakima Valley, maybe over in the Palouse during Tuesday, but our better chance for some rain, and it's only a 20% chance of afternoon showers, will be on Wednesday. But you can see a lot of the state inundated with rain showers from east and then horseshoeing around into western Washington. This thing gets even more established as we move into Thursday, a 40% chance for showers. This will be during the afternoon, and they will just tick up then after that. Thursday night, a better chance, and look what happens by Friday. Cloudy skies, a 70% chance for rain. In fact, all of Washington and the panhandle of Idaho will see some rain and maybe even some mountain snow in the Cascades above 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Saturday, a 60% chance of rain as we get into our upcoming weekend. This area of low pressure is just pretty much stationary by the end of the week and into the weekend. Sunday, not much change, unfortunately. Cloudy skies, a 60% chance of rain as all of the Pacific northwest and the Intermountain Northwest, just kind of mucked up with precipitation out there. You can see, though, the area of low pressure is sliding to the north, and that could make for a better weather pattern as we get into a week from now on next Monday. Let's take a look at your quick lube and tune forecast. Great place to take your car, by the way. 40 degrees the overnight low tonight, 65 your high for Tuesday, so another day of nice temperatures, mostly cloudy, and then we start to get a little bit rainy. Wednesday night especially, a 20% chance for rain. That goes up to a 40% chance on Thursday. Excuse me, and then 70% chance Friday, 60% chance Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures by this weekend in the lower 50 or upper 50s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Dan Kuntz and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
I'm working today.
I've got some work to do today.
Don't forget, I've got some work for you today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Thanks.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in our community.
New beginnings feel great, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Be a job creator. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
Happy Monday, happy April Fool's Day. Dan Kuntz filling in for Eric Grandstrom. Let's do sports. For the Wenatchee Wild is off to Vernon, British Columbia tomorrow and Wednesday. Games 3 and 4 of the Interior Division Final Playoff Series are now tied at a game apiece. Game 1 Saturday, the Vipers skated away with a 4-3 overtime win. Wenatchee was down 3-0 in the second period. That's when the Wild began their comeback. P.J. Fletcher scoring twice within a 4-minute span, and that cut the lead to 1 heading into the final frame. Brian Adams electrified the crowd, a big crowd on Saturday night. Midway through the third period, third goal of the playoffs, so it's 3-3. Regulation ends 3-3, but just 26 seconds in overtime, Michael Young silenced the home crowd. Vernon goes up 1-0. That was Saturday. Sunday, game 2, a much different affair. Neither team scored in the first period. Jacob Mowbray broke the silence in the second with his first goal of the playoffs and made it 1-0. Matt Gocheski scored a power play goal in the third to back up a brilliant performance in net by goalie Austin Park. This guy is good. He's from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. All 26 shots on goal, stopped his 4th playoff shutout. Wenatchee won that game 2-0. P.J. Fletcher tallied an empty netter, by the way, in the final couple of minutes to make it the final score. With the call on Sunday night, Arch Ecker on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Stick handles there and gets help from Gocheski. Gocheski far side with it, throws it up top to the point for Modry. His shot, score! Jacob Modry from just inside the blue line. I don't think anyone got a piece of it. That's Modry's 3rd of the playoffs, and the Wild lead it 1-0. Angled along, can't clear the zone though. Held in by Brendan Kim, nice move, threads it across, shot, save made by Park. Oh, Lansdell with the redirection on the doorstep, tried to put it through the wickets, and Park made an unbelievable stop. But it carried back over to Judson, head for Latta, now to Kowalski, shot, save made, loose puck covered up by Park. He tried to backhand it down low. Judson gets a lift on it, flutters it ahead, back across. There's Gocheski, shoots, he scores! Matt Gocheski, his 4th of the playoffs, and a rocket. right between the circles. Power play goal, and the Wild lead it 2-0. Teddy Wooding can't get a shot, played by Barger. Here's the empty netter. Fletcher with Souter. Fletcher buries it and put this one to bed. With 1:50 left to go, the Wild now lead it 3-0. Brendan Kim walks back into the zone, and the horn will sound the end of this one. And Austin Park redeems himself after a rough start to last night's game. Comes out tonight and pitches the shutout.
So the series is tied now to game apiece. Games 3 and 4 are tomorrow and Wednesday, and then game 5 right back here in the big city on Friday. All 3 of those games start at 7 o'clock. For the Gonzaga Bulldogs, their season came to an end on Saturday in the Elite Eight. They lost to Texas Tech. The final was 75-69. Zach Norville Jr. had a putback with 11 seconds remaining on the clock. That closed it to 2 points. Josh Perkins had reached over the end line and touched the ball out of Matt Moody's hands. You're not supposed to do that. That's a technical foul. Tech made the free throws, and they iced the program's first ever Final Four appearance. Bulldog coach Mark Few said, hey, you got to give credit where credit is due. Texas Tech simply made the plays down the stretch.
Was very impressed with Texas Tech, obviously with their defense, but also with their offense. But our guys fought, and we're right there. Especially, I thought we had good rhythm in that first half, and then game just came down to a couple plays down the stretch where they made big plays, and we just didn't quite answer. And it's a tough way to end a spectacular season.
Elsewhere, Virginia, the only #1 seed remaining, they beat Purdue 80-75. They punched their ticket to the Final Four. Auburn knocks off Kentucky in overtime. Pre-tournament favorite Duke upset by Michigan State 68-67. So the Mariners have played 6 games so far this year. They've scored 48 runs, 58 hits, 15 home runs in just 6 games. It took them twice that long to do that last year. And last year they had Cano and Cruz in the lineup, and yep, they belted another bunch of home runs, a couple of them yesterday, in that 10-8 victory over the Boston Red Sox. The win gave the Mariners 3 wins out of 4 against the defending world champions, and they are now 6-1 on the year. On Sunday, Omar Narvaez went 2 for 5, a 3-run home run, I should say. D. Gordon went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Wade LeBlanc earned the victory. He went 5 1/3. He struck out 6, allowed 6, I should say, 7 hits and a strikeout. The bullpen has not been very good, but of course, when you score a bunch of runs, not that big of a deal. Salem continues their season opening homestand tonight. The Angels are in town 7-10. Felix Hernandez takes the mound for the Mariners. Chris Stratton gets the nod for the Angels. To the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard over the weekend, we'll start with baseball. Wenatchee swept a doubleheader Friday at Rec Park. They beat West Valley 10-0 and 6-0. Moses Lake sweeping Eastmont, as you see there. On Friday, Granite Falls nipped Cashmere 7-6. Then on Saturday, Ephrata edged Cashmere 3-2. Chelan clobbered Cascade 17-2 and 19-3. And the Waterville Shockers, they haven't scored a run yet this year. Ouch. They lost to Brewster 30-0 and 17-0. Prep softball on Friday. Moses Lake swept Eastmont 11-9 and 6-2. Wenatchee split a pair in West Valley against the Rams. Won the first game 8-6. They lost in the nightcap 13-3. On Saturday, Cascade and Chelan split their doubleheader, with the Kodiaks winning the first game, the Goats taking the nightcap. West Valley is atop the boys soccer standings in the Columbia Basin Big Nine. They beat Eastmont 2-1 on Friday. Sunnyside handed the Panthers their second loss of the season 2-1. So the Grizzlies in second, Eastmont third, and Wenatchee fourth. And finally, our schedule for the week. It begins tomorrow night. We got live soccer. The Wenatchee Panthers, Moses Lake Chiefs leave off the field at the Apple Bowl. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wiesen will be there. 7 o'clock live. On Thursday, it's hockey night. Game 1 between Wenatchee and Vernon in their Interior Division Final Playoff Series. That's at 7 o'clock Friday. We got baseball. Eastmont hosts Sunnyside at 7. And then on Saturday, it's Game 2 between Wenatchee and Vernon, again at 7 o'clock. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
NCW Life channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and other stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life channel is your local TV station.